A scientist walks into a wind tunnel lab, and the next second, the door to the lab suddenly locked without warning. He immediately realized something was wrong and ran to the observation port to look out. He found the janitor with an IQ of 70 tampering with the control room computers. The professor was horrified at the sight. He immediately ordered Nolan to open the door to the lab. Instead of opening the door, Nolan skillfully operated the computer to open the air inlet. He also turned on the rocket engine in the lab. The old professor finally realized that something was wrong. Panicked, he ran back to the observation port and found that Nolan was actually increasing the speed of the engine. The suction of the engine was getting stronger and stronger. He walked to the air inlet in the strong wind, holding on tightly to the iron fence that was the only thing that could stabilize his body. Nolan, however, turned up the revs to the maximum. He walked to the whiteboard and erased the old professor's formula. Then, shakily, he picked up a whiteboard marker and corrected the miscalculated formula. As he walked over, the old professor was sucked into the rocket engine. Nolan picks up the mop from the floor and continues mopping the floor in the control room. The next day, Mulder and his team arrived at the scene. Except for a distinctly different line of handwriting on the whiteboard, there's nothing else suspicious to be found. The other two PhDs who had access to the lab both said they hadn't written the formulas. Mulder glanced at last night's roster and saw that there was a janitor in addition to the old professor. Mulder was about to ask about Nolan. Dr. Snow objected on the spot, because he knew Nolan was mentally handicapped and couldn't have written such complex dynamics equations. When Mulder went to the local orphanage to find out what happened to Nolan last night, they found out that Nolan, despite his low IQ, had an affinity for numbers and shapes. Dana tried to ask about last night. Nolan suddenly jumps up uncontrollably and accidentally knocks over the stars on the table. Dana hurriedly knelt down to help Nolan pick up the stars. Mulder saw the paper Nolan had written on the table and quietly pocketed it when no one was looking, then give it to the criminal investigation expert who identified the notes. After comparing it with the formula on the whiteboard, he realized it wasn't Nolan's handwriting. So what's going on here? While they were puzzled, another case occurred in the lab. Dr. Snow was working overtime on the dynamics formula to break through Mach 2. Then Nolan suddenly appeared in the lab and knocked him out.